And we are following some breaking news. A vote delayed on Capitol Hill as the DOJ's anti-weaponization fund is getting some pushback from Congress. That's the $1.8 billion fund created to provide payouts to people who claim they've been unfairly targeted by the government. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche met with Republican senators today. Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion, who's live for us on Capitol Hill. Nikole, what happened this morning? Walk us through.
Well, it's what didn't happen, Elizabeth, that really is the key here, because as the Senate was poised to move forward on this reconciliation package. This, of course, was a measure to fund ICE and CBP, which was not included in funding for the Department of Homeland Security earlier this year when we had that shutdown. So this is a bill designed to fund those agencies. However, just as the Senate was getting ready to do that, of course, earlier this week we saw that the Department of Justice unveiled this brand new anti-weaponization fund to the tune of some $1.8 billion, $1.776 billion to be more precise. And there are really a lot of concerns about how this fund would operate. So we learned last night, ahead of the Senate moving forward on this bill, that the Senate would try to include some potential guardrails to this fund, because senators, both Democrats and Republicans, have been concerned about who's going to get paid from this fund. More specifically, whether or not that could potentially include individuals who attacked law enforcement here at the Capitol on January 6th. So that's why Todd Blanche was here, to really explain what this fund was about, how it would work. However, his answers did not necessarily satisfy Republican senators. And so in essence, after Todd Blanche left, Republican senators, many of them still expressed concerns about this fund, felt that their questions weren't necessarily answered. And subsequently, Majority Leader John Thune called off votes and said that they will come back and work on this reconciliation bill after the Memorial Day recess. Elizabeth.
Nikole Killion, thanks so much for that update. All right, I want to lean in a little bit more into this reconciliation bill that we're talking about here. I want to go to CBS News senior Justice Department reporter Sarah Lynch. Sarah, great to be with you. Okay, so what do we know about how this fund could work and who would actually be eligible for it?
I think that's the $1.8 billion question that we have. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about how this will be set up. What we do know is that they are going to have 5 commissioners who will be appointed to basically set the rules for who can apply, what defines weaponization or lawfare, and, will these awards be capped? Who is eligible, who is not eligible, what could be something that's disqualifying. The problem is we don't know a lot of these answers. That's what's causing so much consternation on Capitol Hill from both sides of the aisle. We don't even know who these commissioners will be. We know that Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche would be appointing 4 of them. A 5th one would be appointed in consultation with Congress. We don't even know if there'll be people from inside the government, outside the government, or who is even eligible to serve on the commission itself.
And if the folks that were involved in the January 6th insurrection, if they would be eligible for a piece of this fund, right?
They are already talking about applying. Quite a few of them have put forth the idea that they're going to be putting their name in the hat, hoping to get some money. There's a lot of concern about whether people who were convicted of violently assaulting police during the January 6th riots could be eligible. There's also concern that people who were convicted of seditious conspiracy, a plot to overthrow the government, if they could be eligible, and then, beyond that, who knows? They've actually said, Todd Blanche said earlier this week in a hearing that this is not limited to what they would call Biden weaponization. So presumably almost anybody who feels they've been, harmed in some way by the government could, in theory, apply for this money.
You could see that list getting very, very long. Sarah Lynch, thank you so much.
Yeah.